Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I am sitting in the special chair today, which means I am doing the intro. This podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Keith, sitting in the special chair. And this is...
your other co-host, Cynthia.
Not in the special chair.
Not in the special chair.
Yeah. I mean, we take turns in the chairs. So, like, Cynthia will get to sit in the special chair for a different podcast. But, like, for now, this is my special chair.
For just for this one. Just for today. Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable.
She's never getting this chair back.
So how was your weekend, your Valentine's Day weekend, 3-day weekend, President's Day weekend? So a lot of people didn't work on Monday.
Oh, yeah. I worked on Monday.
Me too. So.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really much of a 3-day weekend for me. What did I do for Valentine's Day?
Tell me you watched Sonic the Hedgehog because you were
No.
No, you
I didn't get to. I'll probably do that either tomorrow night or Friday night. I'm not totally sure yet. I may try to take my girlfriend. It would just be funny because she's not super into, like, she's into a lot of the things that I'm into, but like the nerdier stuff. She's like very choosy, you know, like she'll like certain nerdy things that I like and she'll really like them, but other nerdy things that I like, she's just kind of like, oh, that's kind of boring to me. So I'm really
interested. Is Sonic the Hedgehog nerdy?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
really?
It's a video game movie.
I don't think it's that nerdy.
It's super nerdy.
It's kind of nostalgic. We talked about this in the movie episode.
I mean, kind of, but just barely.
A little bit.
Anyway, so I want to go see that movie, but the new Invisible Man is coming out soon too, which we've talked about a bunch of times. Anyway, This isn't the movie podcast. This is the music podcast. What are we doing?
But is that what you were doing over the weekend, watching trailers?
No. What did I do this weekend? I am trying to think if I did anything special.
I know we're midweek, so it's like a lot of things happen from then till today.
Oh, we went to Valentine's Day, like a brunch at this place in Folsom, which was tasty. And then I think that was about it. Thursday night, did we go out somewhere Thursday night or did I cook for her? I don't remember. We basically did like 2 Valentine's Day-ish activities on not Valentine's Day. Because Valentine's Day is just like overcrowded and like it's really hard to go anywhere interesting. The only good, like great experience I've had on Valentine's Day was I showed up to this restaurant, which I'd put reservations in for, which is hilarious. I put reservations in for. They had only opened like 4 months prior. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend and I were literally the only people in the entire restaurant.
Really?
In downtown Sacramento, like in a metropolitan area. My girlfriend and I were the only ones in the restaurant.
This past Valentine's Day or
this
different?
Was years ago. This was like 4 or 5 years ago this place opened. And we were the only ones in the restaurant for the first like 2 hours. And so we're like, is this place just really crappy? Like, what's the deal? Food was amazing. Mm-hmm. There's a little basset hound that walks around in the restaurant. One of the restaurant owners owns a basset hound.
Really?
It's super darling. It's called the Table Vine. If you're in Sacramento, shout out Table Vine. Love that place. Went there for my birthday one year. It was great. Went there for somebody else's birthday. Went there for Valentine's Day. All 3 times. Great experience. I think it's either a beagle or a basset hound that they have there. It's super cute, super well behaved.
So I guess like a tip, because how you said Valentine's Day, like the actual day, it's usually very overcrowded, especially around dinner time. What my boyfriend and I did instead, we had lunch. And we actually, we went to Cantina Alley here.
Life hack.
And it actually, because most people are working, you know, people don't do things until nighttime. And instead we're like, let's take advantage of the day, the sunlight. So
which has been beautiful in Sacramento.
Right. It was
lately.
such a gorgeous day.
Oh my gosh.
The weather was perfect.
It's like 65 and sunny.
Yeah.
And like it's cold in the shade. Like cold. Like you need to wear a sweatshirt in the shade. It feels chilly. But like when you're in the sun.
It felt so good.
It's perfect.
Yeah. It was perfect weather. So
if every day all year could be like this, I would love it. Yeah.
I mean, I think we're close to getting there with global warming. So I think your wish will come true soon.
No, because then we still have summer where it's like 110. So.
Oh yeah. Summer. Yeah. I forgot. I haven't lived in Sacramento for the last 6 years.
Wait, so this will be your first summer this year?
In 6 years. From 6 years. Because I've lived in Santa Barbara and then I lived in the Bay Area. So it's like a lot cooler. I'm on the coast and we're inland. So I totally just forgot about that. Like I'm actually spending my first summer here in 6 years and I forgot how absolutely
it's
terrible. Oh my God.
Hate NorCal in the summers. Oh, yeah. It is garbage.
It's super dry. It's super dry.
Yeah. And like even if you like try to drive to like San Francisco or Berkeley, it's still like 90 degrees. And like, then it's 100 and, I don't know, 100. It's gotten up to 110 here in the last
my
5
high
years.
school
It's
graduation,
bonkers.
my high school graduation was outdoors in the summer. Black
It always
gowns.
is.
Black gowns.
Gross.
116 degrees. I remember that day. I was literally drenched in my dress. Like I couldn't even open my gown because like all the girls were just sweating through our dresses and they had like ambulance or paramedics there because people were passing out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was terrible. And they gave us the option because we requested, can we do it indoors? But our gym wasn't that big. And the principal said, well, technically the graduation is not mandatory. So like you don't need to go to your graduation if you don't want to be outdoors. And we're like, what?
I mean, I wouldn't have just not gone.
Yeah,
my parents would have had to have made me go. And I'd be like, do you want to sit outside in 116 degrees while you listen to all of these high schoolers talk about how great their lives are going to be, even though most likely most of them will not make it terribly far into adulthood? That's sad. Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking about that, actually, I know, you led us right perfectly into what I'm going to discuss today. So, as you just mentioned, not
to handle the subject of death lightly, just
no,
so everyone
absolutely
is aware.
not. I think this just happened very casually right now.
Yes,
so,
I don't know how the conversation ended up there, but it did. So here we are.
Yeah, so this is kind of crazy. If you guys tuned in to our episode last week, we mentioned of this new hip hop artist called Pop Smoke. He's very new. Like he just released an album. He's new to the industry and I just discovered him probably a couple months ago. Many other people did too. Like he hasn't been in the music industry for that long. And just this morning I saw that Rip Woo, Only 20 and Dior, those were all hashtags and they were all trending on Twitter this morning. And all of those hashtags are related to him because Woo is the title of his album that he just released. And then Dior is one of his most popular singles that he released. And that's how he got fame pretty much off that one song.
Right.
And they were all trending after it was announced that Pop Smoke was murdered this morning in a home invasion robbery. He was shot. And it was just kind of crazy because we literally were just talking, Keith, last week about him. Like about his album. And so I'm going to give you guys the rundown pretty much what happened. There's not a lot of information out there because this literally just happened this morning at 4:30 a.m.
Wait, isn't like today, Wednesday?
Today, Wednesday. Literally today. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Pop Smoke was at a residence in the Hollywood Hills area, not his home, someone else's. When around 4:30, 5 a.m., two men broke in and shot him. Law enforcement say that the men fired multiple shots, ultimately critically wounding him. So he didn't die on the spot. He was then rushed.
That's awful.
I know. He was then rushed to a nearby hospital where there he was pronounced dead. So kind of similar to Juice WRLD. But in this case, this isn't involving drugs. This is a home invasion. And in Juice WRLD's case, same thing. I mean,
we don't know why they invaded the home.
No, I think, it might have been just the person's home he was in. Again, Pop Smoke was notorious for rapping. I mean, it's in his lyrics about violence, guns. but that's still doesn't give it a reason for people to like rob him.
We're not justifying anything. We're just stating observation. That's all.
Absolutely. And this happens a lot of times. I mean, we talked about it in previous episodes of just how these hip hop artists, like they really have to be careful about what they put out to the world and what they display on social media, because Pop Smoke was super flashy. Like he wore all these chains and, you know, showing their jewelry. I don't know. I didn't follow him on social media, but after seeing this announcement this morning, I went onto his social media, his Instagram, and now I saw kind of what he was putting out on social media. And you got to be careful because there's a lot of envious people out there who don't want to see you succeed. And another, you know, example of this is Kim Kardashian when she got held at gunpoint a couple years back in Paris. And she used to be like super flashy, like showing off her like engagement ring, which is like the size of I don't know, it's huge. But a lot of, I feel like influencers and celebrities and people who just have like a big social media platform need to take into account what you're saying in your music, what you are posting on social media. Like even me, I'm not like anything big time, you know, like I'm not super flashy, but I'm still very cautious of what I put because you just don't know who's following you. Like it's kind of very scary. Yeah.
Well, and then there's like all the location things.
Right. On Snapchat, I turned that off. Like I'm like, I don't want anybody following me.
You use Snapchat?
I use Snapchat just to like send private. I don't like post on my story or anything. I only send it like something quick. Like say I'm going to take a picture of our monitor right now and like send it really quick to like my friend or something, like more messaging. Okay. No, I don't really post
just
on
another messaging platform.
Pretty much.
That makes sense.
Just because I'm too lazy to like take a picture and like go on my iMessage and send it through a text. I'm like, okay, Snap is like instant. I got their username.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Well, I think part of what's really sad about this, like if they are breaking in to steal something from him, like part of the culture of like, or the culture of like rap and hip hop is that you're supposed to be very opulent. Yeah. And like very out there and flashy. So it's like kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place as an individual because you're supposed to like try to solicit some sort of like attention to yourself by being salacious or very out there or having a lot of wealth. And I think that part of like getting cred, quote unquote, is to be able to be kind of like, you know, salacious or sensational in what you're saying and solicit attention to yourself by doing these crazy things and also be very opulent and not have anybody mess with you still because like you've got enough cred to have like, I don't know.
You got to like prove a point almost.
Yeah, I don't even know.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Like it's almost like you got to be about what you rap about. So like when you rap about guns and girls and drugs and violence, it's like the audience expects you to really be about that life, but at what cost? Like getting murdered at 20. He was 20 years old.
That's crazy. 20.
He was so young. His career was just starting to kick off. Like I know we reviewed his album last week and we both said like, it's kind of repetitive, but it's good. Like, it's good, like, gym music. But a lot of people, especially, like, East Coast fans were in love with him. Yeah. New York loved him.
It'd be like if a band came out and sounded exactly like AC/DC. Like, you know, the demographic of people that like AC/DC would be like, oh, look, it's this new band of young people doing this old thing. It's cool. And like, you know, I could see the value in his approach to like hip hop and, you know, agree with their analysis of it and say like, yeah, this is definitely has a place in like our general, I don't know, enjoyment.
Right. And it's just sad because, I mean, next month he was about to go on tour, Meet the Woo tour, which was going to start March 2nd in Washington, D.C. and like,
he hadn't even gone on tour yet?
He hadn't even gone on tour yet. Like it was going to be his first ever tour for his first ever album.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And many artists like 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg, so many more, have been on social media kind of just expressing their feelings about the news. People posting like text messages like, bro, like we were just talking about these plans. Like he had all these future collaborations with all these artists. And I mean, now they're just not going to fall through, unfortunately. But I just think it's a sad situation. I'm not going to say I was like the biggest fan of Pop Smoke because I just kind of started listening to him, but I could still have empathy. Like,
yeah, we're fans of people and artists being able to put music out is what I feel like you're saying.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Whether or not we like his music is irrelevant. I think that it's just kind of sad to see that a voice in the industry has passed at such a young age from something that is
way too prematurely.
Awful. Yeah. So on that somber note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about something a little bit more lighthearted.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back.
Wow. I knew you were going to do that.
I'm in the special chair. I get to bring us back in. It's the GSMC Music Podcast, and we're back from commercial break.
I know. I'm salty
you don't look
right
happy.
now.
Yeah,
no,
you look
I'm
salty.
pretty salty. I was ready. I was gonna be like, "Hey guys." I was gonna bring back like a very high pitched "Hey guys," but it's fine. I'll let this one slide.
Okay. No. We'll redo it. So like a
Hey guys, and welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. And just as Keith said in the previous segment, we're going to move on to a more lighthearted, happier note. So, for all my hip hop and mainly R&B fans, you'll probably have heard of this news that also just came out recently, yesterday, Tuesday night. There's a newly announced hip hop and R&B festival on the block that I'm honestly so juiced about. On Tuesday night, fans were raving over this new 90s and 2000s nostalgia festival lineup called Lovers and Friends. And just the title of the festival, Lovers and Friends, that's a direct song from Usher. And Lovers and Friends.
I don't know that song.
No?
Sorry.
Okay. I was like looking at you like, do you know? Anyways, Usher is one of the headliners, and this festival, it's brand new, never has occurred, first festival happening ever, should be taking place Saturday, May 9th in LA. And it's organized by this company called Golden Voice, and they're the same organizers who put together major music events like Coachella and Camp Flog Gnaw. And some of the artists in the lineup include, as I just mentioned, Usher, Lauryn Hill, TLC, Foxy Brown, Nelly, Sean Paul.
Who's Foxy Brown?
She's like a older female MC, like one of the first like.
Wait, what's an MC?
Rapper.
Oh, okay.
MC, but that's what they like. People call MCs too sometimes. Like,
okay, that makes sense.
So it's like, yeah, she's a rapper, and newer artists also include Summer Walker, haha Keith, and Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did not like Summer Walker.
No, well, you are wrong because people are loving her, and she's on
I know.
many.
My little sister loves Summer Walker too, but that doesn't make her good.
Doesn't your girlfriend like her too, or was that your little sister who said?
No, just my little sister.
Okay,
likes it.
well,
she
has good taste.
I only show my girlfriend the music that you suggest that I like, because if she likes it and I don't, she will listen to it around me. And I just generally,
you just will get aggravated.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear Summer Walker anymore. Like
you were absolutely terrible.
Well, I am allowed to have an opinion.
You are.
And my opinion is that Summer Walker is not good.
And I could say your opinion's wrong, but anyway, kidding. Okay, no, you are entitled to your own opinion.
Thank you.
But I did want to point out that she is one of the, not the top 3 headliners, but she's up there. She's like top 6, if you can see in the picture. She's up there.
Well, I mean, I think it's great that like people really like her and that she's doing well for herself. I'll never wish ill on somebody who's succeeding. Like it's great. I don't have to like your music to want you to experience success.
Right. But so Lovers and Friends, I know people who love R&B and hip hop like me, you guys are going crazy over this lineup. I am too. I actually, in my honest personal opinion, and you probably might disagree with me on this. I actually like this lineup better than the Coachella lineup. Like, I will pay money to go to this festival over Coachella. Also because I'm not crazy in like the festival scene. Like,
no, you don't want to go for 3 days.
It's kind of too much. It takes a toll on my body very negatively. So a
well,
one
you're
day,
not 21. You're still super young.
Right.
Especially compared to me.
we're not that like, but I get what you're saying though. I get what you're saying. Like, probably once I'm older, I'm not even going to want to attend festivals at all.
No.
But
I just think of like loud, I'm only 4 years older than you, and all I can think of is like loud crowds, people doing explicit substances, and constantly worrying about whether
I just
or not
don't like
my
people
wallet
like
got
bumping
stolen.
into me and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just like not a fan. But I'm actually literally considering going to this festival. Like, my friends and I are in a group chat where we signed up for the pre-sale that goes out actually.
Wait,
pre-sale
hold
tickets.
up. The whole point of talking about this is that we're not sure if it's real.
I know, but let me tell you, I'm going to clarify, okay?
Okay.
So this is the rundown, you guys. So the lineup is so good that it's almost like too good to be true.
I mean,
and it's highly impressive for all to bring back all of those throwback artists. Like, there are so many. We have Ja Rule, Fat Joe. We have literally every single.
Who's Fat Joe?
He was really big like in the 2000s as well.
Why
like,
is
they don't
Twister
really make,
misspelled on this poster?
why is who?
Twister?
It's Twista.
No, it's misspelled.
Is it actually spelled Twister?
No, it's spelled Twista. I'm just giving you a
Oh, I'm like, wait, don't confuse me right now.
Genuine? That
Genuine.
is not how you spell genuine.
These are artists. That's how they want to spell their names.
Who names themselves Tweet?
I don't know.
Tweet? Oh my gosh.
But so as I was saying, so there's a lot of
I'm
confusion. There's a lot of confusion because some artists on the lineup have began to speak out. Some are confirming their attendance. Others are not. But before I get into who exactly is not confirming and all that, first thing I wanted to point out is that many, fans, they're on their detective, thing, especially girls.
Well, and the internet is just that way.
It really is. Like, I can't keep up sometimes. Megan Thee Stallion is also scheduled to perform at the Broccoli City Festival in DC on May 9th, which is literally the same day.
Broccoli City?
I know. I've never heard of that festival.
That sounds like simultaneously unappetizing and appetizing. Like, I know it'll probably be good for me, but I don't know if I want to eat it.
Right.
Rim shot.
Boom. There we go. But so some artists are like, wait, you're playing at 2 festivals at the same day. Also, multiple of the artists listed on the flyer are also on the lineup for the Rolling Loud Festival in Miami, which is also scheduled for that exact same weekend. So there's like so many festivals.
I mean, you could fly from California to, and like.
Right. And that's actually what some of the organizers, I think one of the representatives of Golden Voice spoke out about this and said, yes, they're scheduled for multiple festivals. Like T-Pain is also scheduled for Rolling Loud Miami and for Lovers and Friends. And then he just hashtagged not jet skis. He hashtagged like jet flying or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is like rich people, problems right there. Like,
well, I mean, if he has a private private jets fly faster than regular like commercial jets. So it's not like he's going to like sing at Coachella and then have to go through security and then hop up, like wait for his boarding pass to get on Southwest to fly to Miami with a layover in Texas. Like, nah, he's just gonna
direct
straight from the show to his private jet, which will fly until it almost runs out of gas, land somewhere, get more gas, and fly to Miami probably in like under 2 hours.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, maybe not under 2 hours, but
that's what some fans were just like pointing out. Like they're like, so what's the truth? Like, are you going to be there or not? And I think the other reason why people were like questioning if the festival in general is real or fake is because Twista, he made matters even more.
Speaking of Twista.
I know. He made matters even more confusing. Initially, he denied he was a part of it, but then later he wrote on Instagram that he actually would be there, saying locked and loaded, playing all the hits, you dig? He also tweeted something else saying.
Does he have hits? What's a hit?
He does, like a hit song. Like doesn't have a lot of new music out now, but back then he does. But it was funny because he also mentioned, like, he first said, no, I'm not gonna be at the festival. And then literally like moments later, he's like, JK, I can't even say I'm too because I have to keep this like PG-13. He said that he wasn't in the right state of mind when he tweeted that.
He was messed up,
yes.
but with an F.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's like, JK, like, I will be there. So he's like confusing the audience.
Oh yeah, maybe like some of these people's like their agents like booked the gig for them,
right?
So, like,
and didn't let them know.
They didn't know like by the way,
the deposit hasn't hit their bank account, but I think it did. I think it did hit his bank account now.
Oh, like as soon as he sends out the tweet,
right.
it's like you have a direct deposit from Golden Voice for millions of dollars.
Right.
Oh, I guess I will be there.
Well, here's another person too who claims like this is fake is Lil Kim, which she's another female MC rapper. She posted the flyer on her Instagram story and she's like, this is totally fake. Mm-hmm. So that's when all the rumors started. And then Snoop Dogg responded to that post saying, because I didn't know this, Snoop Dogg is one of the organizers of the festival and he's a booking agent. So he's the one contacting all these agencies and contacting all these management teams from these artists saying like, so I think he even on a video, he said, Lil Kim, like, there's a misunderstanding. He's like, we talked to your people. Like, he's like, DM me so we can get this sorted out.
This is an elaborate joke. No, this is a joke. It's not real.
No, I think
I'm calling it right
now. Why
now.
would Snoop Dogg wouldn't scam people for their money? Like, I'm sorry.
No, but they're not going to take any money from anybody. Pre-sale hasn't happened yet, right?
Pre-sale starts tomorrow, available 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay, and when you go to log on, it's going to be a video of like, never gonna give you up. You're gonna get Rickrolled.
Oh my God.
This is an elaborate Rickroll.
No, so let me tell you. So, but then Usher and Lauryn Hill, which are the top two headliners of the show, they posted on their story saying like, can't wait. Like they confirmed their attendance. So I think the issue here is just there must have been some miscommunication
between certain artists.
Right.
Yeah.
Like their people didn't tell them, like they just added them onto the lineup without contacting the artist.
Right.
But because why would Usher and Lauryn Hill post on their stories like, can't wait, if it was not true? But there were many jokes that, of course, shout out to Twitter. I just love Twitter. There were many jokes going around that this will be another Fire Festival scam.
Oh my gosh.
You've seen the
I haven't seen the documentary, but I've
my
heard
goodness.
so many things. Like they were told they'd have like this amazing dinner.
Yes.
It's like hot dogs on white bread in the middle of a tent in the rain, and you paid thousands of dollars for this ticket. Oh,
that's what, and like literally when I saw that, I started busting out laughing. I'm like, hey, this could totally be a Fire Festival scam, and I could be a part of like history right now. But I don't care. I'm going, Keith. I'm telling you, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. I'm gonna sign up for. Well, I already signed up for the pre-sale, but hopefully I'll be able to get a pre-sale ticket tomorrow.
You're rallying for the stallion.
I am rallying for the stallion. I need to see her in person. Like,
I wanted to.
I will report back to you how she is. How hot,
yes,
the hot girl,
do.
the Captain Hot Girl. That's what she goes by.
Wait, Captain Hot Girl?
Yeah, she says she's the captain of the hot girls.
Spell hot HAWT?
No, it's just hot HOT.
Oh my gosh,
hot girl.
All this opportunity for great comedy, and they never take advantage of it.
I know.
Also, okay, so the next little like show note. I know we don't do this completely improv. We have show notes. The next little show note you have is Golden Voice released a statement that said our festival is 100% confirmed. Lineups are always subject to change. Mm-hmm. What would be crazy to me is if Golden Voice is testing the waters of putting out a lineup before they actually confirm everybody on it, and then seeing how many pre-sales they can get, and then changing the lineup because they couldn't get any of the artists that they were hoping to get. So they're basically just going to post, like, until the government tells them you're not allowed to do that, they're going to post fake lineups saying like, oh yeah, we'll get Rage Against the Machine, and then they don't actually get Rage Against the Machine.
No, I don't think they would do that because Golden Voice, like, that would totally just kill their reputation, especially since they do handle Coachella, which is like probably one of the biggest music festivals in the nation. So I feel like that would really tarnish just their brand if they were to do something like that. Like, oh, we're going to like put all these names on this lineup, and then really like half of them are gone. Like that would totally mess up their brand. Like, absolutely.
Honestly, I think that I think that they could trick the American public into being okay with it. Honestly. I think that it could happen.
I'm going to protest if this happens.
No, I would too. Yeah. Well, and obviously they'd have to make it so that you could return your ticket. Like, yeah. That would be one of the conditions. But you might be able to keep it, and it might change their like cash flow or something, and it might just make it so that they can make money doing other ventures by having this more consistent cash flow rather than like just selling out all the time. People will just be constantly doing transactions of purchasing and returning tickets. So now it'll change. Like, they might be able to leverage that into something, but that's like a whole different form of economics. But regardless, this is interesting for sure that they would be like, yeah, it's confirmed. Lineups are always subject to change. Like,
but every
wink,
festival
wink.
says that.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if like a couple people were left off, but generally speaking, I think there's a fire. Get it? A fire lineup. I might get fired scammed. I don't know. I'm willing to risk it, honestly. Like
you'll
I said,
be on the next documentary on
absolutely.
Netflix. Yeah.
I'm saying it here. Hopefully I don't get scammed, but
I hope you don't get scammed too.
I definitely will keep you updated.
Please
if I
do.
do purchase a ticket, I will definitely just keep you updated on the updates, because this was just a trending topic, and many people who are like in love with this genre, like me, especially the 90s and 2000s era, everybody's so excited. And like I said, I'm not like a festival type person, but this lineup, if it stays like this, like I'm getting a VIP ticket, honestly, because I need to be front and center. I will drop coins for this, okay?
Drop coins.
But please,
wow.
yes.
So many cultural references in that little colloquialism.
Yep. But you got it.
I
coins.
did.
I'm dropping money. I'm dropping money to go see these people. But please, Keith, watch Fire Festival, because
I will.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you watched that Netflix documentary, because it's actually pretty comical. Like, I know you'll get a good laugh, especially from this one scene. And I know if you listeners have seen this documentary and you know exactly what scene I'm talking about, you guys are laughing right now too in your heads. So please, Keith, watch it.
I will.
And I think we're going to cut into another quick break. And when we come back, Keith, you're going to share with us some of the new music you've been listening to this past week.
Yes. And some music that we've probably all been listening to. We'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast.
Why can't I wait until the music is done?
Because I feel like an awkward pause, and I'm probably sitting there like, okay, like where'd we go? But we're here. Keith is just trying to like play a prank with you guys.
No, it's not a. It's
per
not a,
usual.
It's not a prank. Don't.
He's like, how long can I sit here in silence and make everyone uncomfortable?
That is not. I would never.
I can't. I like get fidgety. I'm like, okay, I need to say something.
Well, so right before the break, we were talking about the fake music festival that Cynthia's going to buy a ticket for.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to keep you guys updated if I get fire scammed. But if I don't, like, I just cannot let this opportunity pass. Like, if this is a true lineup, I need to go. These are all my favorites.
How many artists would they need to, or like how many artists not being there would it take for you to feel scammed?
Not being there?
Yeah. So like how many artists on the lineup could be subject to change to where you would still feel good about having bought the ticket?
Like if they change, okay, from the bottom, bro, if they change like max 5, like no more than 5.
No more than 5. What if one of those 5 was Usher? Oh, so it can't be the headliner.
No, if it's Usher, I don't know. It has to be someone better. If it's Beyonce, okay, I'm in. If it's just a Beyonce concert, I'm still going. I'm dropping the same amount of money to see Beyonce.
Yeah. Well, sure. Yeah,
seriously.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about something else. So, as a lot of you know,
not me, because I didn't know until you told me about this.
You didn't know about this?
No.
I feel like everybody's been talking about this. So, Billie Eilish.
Oh, Billie Eilish.
Just dropped a new track for the James Bond movie called No Time to Die. Mm-hmm. I assume you haven't listened to it.
I did listen.
Oh, okay.
I listened to. I was surprised. No, it's because I am not organized right now, and I was looking at the wrong show notes.
Oh,
so I was like, I know.
Okay. I understand.
No,
What did you think?
Again, her style is not like my favorite, but I was definitely able to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a track I can see playing in a movie scene. Yeah. Especially the chorus when I think it's the violin in the chorus.
Yep.
Is right? So no,
it's like a whole string section.
Right. Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. I was able to listen to it like a couple times through. Her voice is amazing. Like I'll never talk badly on her singing skills because she's got vocals for days.
Yeah, the way that she's able to get that kind of I'm not trying, but it still sounds really good.
Right. No, she's
buttery
great.
Sweet. It's
right.
Great.
No, absolutely. She's great. I think it's just her style is not for me, but that's not to say that she's not amazing.
Yeah. Well, some interesting little tidbits about the song. So it was written by Eilish and her brother, and they got to read the first scene of the movie and meet with the producer, and Daniel Craig actually is rumored to have had some input on what cuts were used for. Daniel Craig is the guy who's playing James Bond. I think this is his last Bond film. Mm-hmm. He's been a great Bond for the last few movies. They wrote and recorded this song in 3 days, and it was done between a tour bus and a bedroom studio, which is pretty awesome. Though, when you say bedroom studio about Billie Eilish and her brother, I imagine that it's definitely not just some random bedroom studio. It's probably
it's legit.
to the nines decked out.
Right,
yeah,
legit.
It may as well be a real studio. It just happens to be in somebody's house.
I have a quick question about the sibling duo. Do they write all of her songs? Are they also written by Phineas?
I believe so.
He writes most of them with her, right?
I would think so.
Because I feel so. Yeah, because I would imagine it's pretty hard for a solo artist to write every single lyric to every song.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has some type of input, but that's great that it's family and your brother, and they always say they're best friends. So
yeah, which is pretty cool. So Phineas apparently doesn't like recording in studios because he feels they're really uninspired, and he never gets to write anything good. So
yeah, that was in an interview he did with Genius regarding this song, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was an interview I watched. Billie Eilish and her brother were talking to this UK journalist, and she was asking kind of how the song came about, and how you mentioned they were shown the first scene of the movie, and that's how they also, what kind of helped them write the song. Because the lyrics are directly related to the scene of that first 15 minutes that they were shown.
Yeah. Which is super cool.
Yeah. And so that's what they said. They don't like writing in typical studios because they feel, as he said, intensely uninspired, which that makes sense. You need to kind of be inspired, or I would assume, I'm not an artist, but by your surrounding, by your environment, that definitely sets the tone in how, or the creative space you kind of get into, the creative headspace. I think that's why a lot of artists actually record in the middle of the night, at 3, 4 in the morning, because they say their mind's just kind of turning and all these ideas and
kind of
feelings
out of
come
your normal range.
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I had a friend who used to write songs a lot. And I asked her why artists do that. I'm do people post that on Instagram just to look cool and post the time oh, I'm up at 5 a.m. recording a song? But she said no, people actually record late night because they're trying to get into this how you said
specific headspace.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was actually interesting how they said they don't do studios.
Yeah.
They do it in tour buses, bedroom studios.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works for them.
Yeah, yeah. And another cool thing about this song, the orchestral stuff is actually from Hans Zimmer, and the guitar on the track is from Johnny Marr of the Smiths. So, they say it was written by Eilish, and I'm sure that, she and her brother had some say in what was happening with like the string section and the guitar section. But like Johnny Marr and Hans Zimmer, those are some pretty big names to be attached to a song. So it's definitely interesting, and you can tell that the production value on this song is just like super high. I was pretty impressed. People in general are kind of like satisfied with it. They're saying it's kind of like the best Bond theme.
Yeah, I heard. There's a lot of good reviews
in a few years, but they're not saying that it's like the best song ever. I imagine it's pretty hard to write a song for like a Bond theme. It's like you specifically know that they're not going to play the whole thing during the movie, so it's kind of like, well, what do I do here? So I can see why they would.
I got some Bond influence throughout the song.
Yeah, it's got that similar. Like that little like it's kind of like I don't want to get too much in the music theory of it, but there's like this specific interval that causes it to feel kind of like sour, right? And she's in that same kind of like minor song or minor key, so she gets those same kind of like sour notes in there that sound really just kind of like sad, but like also like there's a lot of tension that creates this like kind of like, I don't know, grandiose feel to it. So which is pretty cool. So yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah, I like it as well. And then we're going to move on to, as we kind of come towards the tail end of the show, I have some recommendations. We'll just call it Keith's anti-radio picks of the week.
This is new music you've kind of discovered within the last week, right?
Yeah.
I didn't include any for today's episode because I didn't engage in any new music this past week. But that's why I was like, music news, like, hello.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's always good to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to just review albums every time we get on here.
No.
Because, I mean, not everybody needs our opinion on everything.
Right. But I actually like your picks.
Oh.
They're not, again, they're out of my comfort zone. They're 3 very different albums. But
very different.
No, I enjoyed it. Like, I didn't hate it.
Okay. Well, let's get into the first one. So the first one is by a band called Taraban, and it is titled How the East Was Lost. It is a stoner metal record, and this is Taraban's first full-length studio album. They're a Polish kind of like stoner metal band, which I think is pretty cool because they sing in English. They're named after a war drum that was used as a military instrument to like set pace and intimidate opposition. And that's a war drum that was kind of used in like Eastern Europe. I don't know exactly what time period, but that's not necessarily important. So the record kind of focuses lyrically a lot on the idea of like being born a loser or like self-sabotage, like standards kind of like stoner metal or like metal lyrics, where it's just kind of like this very grandiose way to say that like nothing matters and that ultimately like everything's kind of lost. So definitely interesting. What were your thoughts?
It gave me Narcos vibes. Have you seen Narcos, the show?
I have not seen the show.
No. Oh my goodness, Keith, you're killing me with these Netflix. You're killing me with these Netflix shows you haven't seen. But anyways, so yeah, Narcos is like a pretty much drug crime.
It's about Pablo Escobar, right?
Pablo Escobar, El Chapo. It's now in Mexico. The 5th season just came out like less than a week ago, so I'm like binge watching it right now. But no, I like the album cover. The album cover and like the instrumentals throughout some of the songs that I listened to gave me Narcos vibes. And you will understand if you ever do watch Narcos. The intro song has a lot of like similarities to a couple of the songs that I was listening to. So that's why like I immediately like took me to that place. And also the cover art of the album,
it's pretty cool.
It looks like a scene from Narcos. Like literally when I was like, this is Narcos. Like
they're all like in a pool and it's like very symmetrical and like it's got these like bright green colors. It's these guys aren't super popular and they're from Poland, so like they've definitely got a lot of like heavily like their kind of cultural influence in it. So I definitely really appreciated it. It kind of feels like a breath of fresh air for the rock genre. It's like really jam friendly, and it is. It has, but it still has a lot of like musical movement and interest that I really enjoyed.
I was a little hesitant when I saw it was a stoner metal. I was like, okay, this is gonna be like headbanging, like
stoner
hardcore.
Metal is
that's what I thought.
Yeah, stoner metal is slow metal. It's basically just like it's like the whole thing's like a half step beat, like dun 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 dun. Like it's supposed to be slow and feel like you're stoned. So I really like the tracks White Lies and 21st Century Deluge in C# major, which is a hilarious song title track, but those are my top 2. I would give the record like an 8 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. I think that if you like hard rock and you're kind of like in a rut, this would be a great record for you to listen to kind of like get out of that rut.
I can't really put too much input because this is definitely like not my favorite genre. I will say that out of the 3 albums that you chose, this one was probably my favorite.
Really?
Again,
Interesting.
yeah, just because again, it's like not my style, but that's not to say that it's a bad album.
Yeah.
I think how you said, if you're like a fan of stoner metal or rock, I think this will be a great pick for them.
Yeah. And this is on a lot of like the top lists for stoner metal. That's how I found it. So we'll move on to my next recommendation for this week. It's by an artist named Molly Sarl. The record is titled Karaoke Angel, and it's kind of like a singer-songwriter, kind of poppy, kind of alternative, kind of hard to like. It's very folk. I would say it's very folk-oriented. So Molly Sarl is a member of the band Mountain Man, which is funny because it's a band of all women. So they call themselves Mountain Man. So I'm interested. I haven't actually heard any of their music, so I'll probably be listening to them this week. It was recorded in a studio in Woodstock that used to be a church called Wonderland, which I just thought is really cool. And the songwriting kind of focuses heavily on the themes of like depression and suicide and just kind of like train of consciousness, stream of consciousness, kind of like a lot of religious experiences. It's kind of similar in style to Mountain Man from what I was able to glean from reviews. And I really enjoyed it. I kind of liked the lyrical content is kind of like the primary focus for the record. And she just does a really good job of kind of like taking these tropes and experiences that we're all familiar with and kind of capturing them in like 1 or 2 lines. And then her voice is just kind of like haunting and magnetic at the same time.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed kind of like that vibe. And I love folk music. So this is just a great kind of like modern day interpretation of what folk could sound like. So I really enjoyed it.
Out of the 3 albums you recommended, I think this one's probably my favorite. I loved her voice. Specifically, the track "Human" reminded me of Fleetwood Mac. Like
she has kind of that Fleetwood Mac vibe.
Yeah, and I think like the album, like just the few songs that I was able to get to, I think they're like campfire songs. And
they are kind of
right,
like that,
like I can
minimal...
see like everybody like in a huddle around the fire, and she's there with her guitar, like singing the song. So no, I think it was a pleasant listen.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, it's definitely good for like. If it's a rainy day in late February, like I would pop this record on.
A rainy day in February. Come on, we're in Sacramento. There has not been a single drop of rain here.
I'm
yet.
sure that there will be.
Hopefully.
Knock on wood, cross our fingers. I would give this one also like pretty high ratings, like a 7.5 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, if you're in the mood for like a sad, reflective, folk singer-songwriter record, definitely check it out. What would you said the first one was your favorite, and then you said this one was your favorite. So
no, I said the first one's my least favorite.
Oh, your least favorite. I didn't catch the least part.
Favorite.
Oh, okay.
This one, but Karaoke Angel, I would probably rate it, like 7 as well, like 7.5.
Any of these songs going on your gym playlist?
No, they're too slow.
I know.
They're way too slow.
I don't think this is on anyone's gym playlist.
Yeah, Pop Smoke is in my play, and then now especially after that, I'm like really gonna go hard.
Yeah. And then real quick, just I got the opportunity to put an extra one in this week.
You listen to a lot of music. You had a lot of time.
So my third recommendation this week is a band called the Cactus Blossoms. The record is titled Easy Way. This is their second studio record. It's a band that was formed in 2010 by 2 brothers. One of their songs has been featured in Twin Peaks, and they kind of have like this new approach to the classic version of country. Like it's kind of like a duet version of Marty Robbins, who I think I've mentioned on the podcast before. It was like a 40s and 50s, I believe, country star, maybe 50s and 60s. I can't remember exactly what generation he was in. But it's just like he has this like kind of like this drawl in his voice, and he sings about very specific things. And these guys kind of do similar things with their lyrical content. Like it's all very like, this is a love song and this is this sad thing. And like the opening track to the record is called Desperado. and like I think it's really, really good. I definitely enjoyed it. They're kind of in this genre called like cosmic country, which I've
never heard of.
Yeah.
And that was my initial thought too. Like, I'm like, it's not all the way country. There was one song in specific that I can't remember right now that I even asked you that. I'm like, is this country? Like, it kind of has a little bit of a country touch, but it's not really. And I am not a country fan. I'm sorry if you are. I just can't really get deep into, I don't know. It's just not for me. But what I will say about the Cactus Blossoms, I would rate this as like my second pick. I'm not like super crazy about it. But Desperado, to me, could play in Nacho Libre.
Totally could.
Totally
yeah.
Nacho Libre.
It's got this like very prominent acoustic guitar strum part and these two guys singing. It just feels like honestly, this record feels like bro country is how I would describe it.
Bro country.
It's like indie bro country because it's like, this is like if I'm on a road trip with my best friend, like this is what I'm jamming to if we're driving during the day. It's like, you know,
I
the
can
melody
see that.
is super catchy and the acoustic guitar is prominent and like it's got like a lot of production value, but the production value is spent in making it feel much more old-fashioned than it actually is. So, if you like Cosmic Country, if you like this band, real quick, check out a guy named Honey Harper. I want to increase his listens on Spotify because I love him so much, and I want him to put out another record. His name's Honey Harper. He's also Cosmic Country. So if you like Cactus Blossoms, I'm sneaking in a fourth recommendation, check out Honey Harper too. So that about covers it for us this week.
That was a lot. That was a lot of jam-packed information.
I know, in the last 10 minutes.
Right. Like, just Pop Smoke. We talk Lovers and Friends lineup. Hopefully I don't get scammed. We talk Billie Eilish. And then your top three.
Taraban, Molly Sarl, Cactus Blossoms.
Yeah, so take notes, people. We mentioned a lot today.
We did.
If you get scammed by Lovers and Friends like me, comment, or if you're planning on going.
Yeah.
But hopefully we don't get scammed. That would totally suck.
Well, you know,
it would definitely be laughable. Like, I will say, I will definitely laugh at the
I don't want you to get scammed, but I definitely want this to have been like a fake lineup with some like elaborate
don't
prank.
wish that. Don't put that out in the universe.
I know, I do.
Do not put that in the universe.
Anyway, like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Leave us a review. Make sure it's 5 stars. Talk about how great we are.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to Keith and mine's episode today here at the GSMC Music Podcast. And we wish you all a happy and musically inclined week.
Yeah. Have a good week.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.